this computer. There we go. All right. Okay. I'll disappear. I'll leave you to it, and I'll be back in a hourish. And all right. Okay. The act of blending, of connecting to spirit, is very fundamental. It is not only fundamental to the mediumship my medium is demonstrating, but it is also fundamental in many other ways. Whether you are chasing enlightenment, self-realization, understanding yourself and your life, want to become a truer version of yourself, then the act of blending is appropriate to you. The word blending is rather not one that I would use or even pick if it were my choice, as I believe that it is rather contradictory to what is actually happening. The word blending seems to infer that there are two very separate beings or entities. And of course, in the early days, this may appear to be very true. You may feel like there is a you and another. And over the course of time, there have been various people that have tried to change this name themselves. And one organization likes to call it control mediumship. Control mediumship infers that you surrender control to something or somebody else and says to them, you do it. But do you all, in your physical form, have problem with the word control? If I said to you, you control my car, you control my life, you control my bank balance, and you firmly hand over that control of your bank balance to somebody else, how would you feel about that? So the word control has connotations which may be detrimental. Of course, detrimental within the human psyche. As control, of course, is not a word that you can easily relate to because of the act of surrender of it. The giving away of control, no matter how true that may be rather detrimental in its phrase. So there is a better term that I believe, and a better term which would fit this type of work far more appropriately, and that is just allowing. Allowing spirit into your life. Allowing spirit to be of influence for 1 hour, or longer or shorter as you deem fit. So the talk today is split into 2 parts. The second part with the normal communicator, but I will take over the first part. And they will be on 2 very distinct aspects. to satisfy those which are undertaking a journey of realization, but also for those which are undertaking a journey of allowing Spirit to communicate with them and through them. For some, the journey begins with an exploration of what we are talking about today, transmediumship. When that journey takes a certain pathway, a certain turn, they understand then that that journey is rather limiting when they say transmediumship. Well, limiting for those which perhaps understand it. For others, of course, that journey will continue along that path. But for these people, the expression of transmediumship does not fully fit for them. They accept the credibility and accept the understanding that there is a spirit or some kind of spiritual entity beyond them, and they want to understand more about that and understand why and how and where do I fit with all of that. And trance may then be too limiting, because it's often felt that it is just about words or maybe drawings or maybe healing. I see there's a few of you already considering this, and there'll be a few of you which will consider it later. So I talk on this topic not because it is, let us say, better than the other topic, but it is something to be considered. You see, the human mind is always looking for deeper, further, what is beyond. And as man decides to explore his boundaries, there will be always further to go, either away from the planet, shall we say, or deeper within the understanding of this form of man, of matter. There will always be new ground to discover. Currently, in scientific terms, the exploration has the scientists look deeper and deeper into what makes matter. They have gone to such a point where they do not know whether something actually exists or not, as they have gone down to smaller and smaller particles. And they have come to a point where they do not know if something is there or something is not there. So they give it a nice little talk and say, I do not know whether it is a wave or whether it is a particle. In other words, they do not know what is there and if there is anything there. But there is something there that responds. And this is the finest point currently that man can get to when they look inward scientifically. And when you come into your deeper meditations, you surrender and you listen. I suppose meditation is really the sacred art of listening. And when you get to these deep points, you do not know whether you are there or not there. There just seems to be a disappearance. And in exploring that part of yourself, or that experience, if you wish, the experience is felt, but there seems to be nobody there to experience it. Until you go into your deep meditations, you will think I am talking rather poetically, but lost in space, as you could say. For those which are following the path of their realization, this is your destiny. To understand that there is understanding, but no person to do the understanding. The verb and not the noun. Now I could take that topic still deeper and further still. But this journey, the journey that I am talking about, is a journey you will all take. At some stage, just your time is yet to be determined. And when you begin it, you will understand more, and then you will decide whether you wish to express what is there. You see, the most important thing in your life is actually to turn up to your life, to turn up fully into your life, to be here and now and present and fully here. Once you understand this and express this, then you will have the realization that the expression of spirit is what is required. So for those channeling and walking the direction of understanding and choosing to leave mediumship behind, or come back to that mediumship as a form of expression of who they are and what they find on the other side. Of course, this all sounds rather deep and rather wonderful, but how does that concern me? If it does not concern you, it will not concern you just yet. Those of you who are undertaking that journey will understand what I mean. At some stage, spirit has to be made manifest into the world. So let me just change the words slightly to give you a better understanding. Let us say you have a moment of feeling pure love or pure happiness. And the experience you feel is rather wonderful. Now, I do not mean the love which is the love for another. I mean a love for everything, which is a wonderful experience. And this experience then, once you have felt it, becomes something that you value. You value that experience. But if you stay in the chasing of the experience, the chances are you may never feel it again. If you have a guide or a teacher, they will encourage you to express that experience and to love something every day. To love writing, to love flowers or trees, to love the miracle of life. And then this becomes not just something you value, but becomes a value within your life. And you express love more and more because you know not only does it make others feel good, but it makes you feel good. And here you have made manifest at least the quality of spirit of love. So you have changed an experience into a manifestation. By understanding that that is your pure being. And you have not done it for yourself, but for others, even though you have gained yourself. So as I have said, those chasing enlightenment, realization, understanding, will come back to that very point of expression of what they know and find. It is not the experience, but the manifestation of the experience. Now I fear I may have lost a few of you in the depth. But it is important for some. Some listening now, some listening tomorrow. You see, the act of mediumship in all its modalities then becomes an expression of truth. Mediumship is not solely about the connection of those which have passed, but that is just the stepping stone into the understanding of what awaits you all. Have you not heard the words spoken to you before, that you have all of this and more? And I think in your Bible it says, you will do this and more. This is the more I am talking about. The ability to move mountains. I hold myself back from following that line of inquiry, but it is all there for you, just not about the understanding, but the expression. So this is why blending is allowing. So a beautiful phrase, which you can use in all aspects of your spiritual development, whichever path you take, in whatever circumstance you face. And that is, how much spirit will I allow into my life? How much spirit will I allow into my life? Is there anybody thinking just 1%? I am sure you are not. So this work, when expressed this way, is no more than allowing. So I step back and allow the next spirit to talk to you on a different level. Gotta say, it kind of makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Sense that it's really about understanding what's already there. You see, a lot of people think I got to go out and find a spirit, or I'll go down the shops, grab myself a good one, see if any's on special this week, see what I can find. None of that cheap, rubbishy ones. But you ain't. You've already there. You've already got it. You don't have to go nowhere to go and achieve it. But people often think, I ain't got a spirit, I ain't got a guide, I don't know who I really am. But it's your spiritual self that holds all your life together. You see, your mind and your body wants to fall apart all the time, doesn't it? A little bit of drama, I'm running. I'm out of here, I'm gone. But it's your spiritual self that holds it all into place. And what it holds into place is up to you, really. You see, people think you got to go and find them, but, well, you're already a spirit, ain't you? The troubles you have with the expression of all forms of mediumship, in essence, is a belief that you're not spirit. If you understood and accepted fully you are spirit, then what have you got to go and find? It ain't finding nothing. It's just really expressing what's already there, isn't it? Expressing what you feel, expressing what's sitting in front of you. Don't have to go nowhere. You wake up to it. That's all. It's like having a blanket covered in leaves. You think you ain't got one. All you've got to do is shake the leaves off and there's the blanket. It's already sitting waiting for you. The connection's already there. And people have to try and manipulate it and make it ways and things that really it's about them. It's not about us. Oh, I've got to make it this way. It's got to work that way. It's got to be in this order. Why? One of the worst things you can have, is memory. I bet you're thinking, what the hell's he talking about? He's really been hitting the rum bottle before he got here, isn't he? But what I mean is your memory gives you expectations on the way you was and the way you're supposed to be today. And you remember the teachings of your parents, your family, of society. You remember of what went wrong yesterday and what went right yesterday, and then you try to repeat it. So you never fully allow it. So you're never fully there to express it the way it is. That's why he says allowing. It's allowing because you can just let it be the way it's meant to be today. There's so many people that say it's got to work this way at this time, at this certain style. We can't do this. It's got to be that because that's the way I was taught. So you limit it. And this is what's meant by living fully in the present moment. Because if you live fully in the present moment, then how is there a yesterday? There ain't. So the act of blending, allowing, surrendering, giving control over to you-know-who is really just expressing the true self of who you are that's already there. It's letting your insides onto your outsides. And there's a few of you thinking, I don't want to show my insides. But it's true, isn't it? It's just about letting what's already there come out and be shown properly. If you want to do this work, if you want to do this type of mediumship or any type of mediumship or any fancy pants other work or any healings or anything like that, well, I'm going to say to you what's been said 1,000 times. Let us do it. Stop it. When you get involved, you stuff it up. You think, what I'm going to do is stand on my head and do it because it's really impressive. No, you don't need to. You just got to let us do it. That's been the essence of the teaching through all of these talks, isn't it? All these ones in this group anyway, this group of talks. I think this is number 14. And everyone's been, well, in essence, in different words, coming back to the same point. Let us do it. How much of us are you going to let do this job? If I say it like that, you're going to say, all of it. I'm going to let you do the whole lot. But do you? You can say it, but do you? Will you let us? Just let us. You see, a long while ago, well, ain't that long, but a little while ago, we gave him the exercise to, while blend, build up love. While you got some problems in your life, before you tackle them, build up love. When you've got to do something nasty, build up love in your heart first. If you've forgotten about this, this is one of the greatest exercises you'll ever do. It is also the exercise of allowing us. We are the essence of love. And we want to manifest that love. We want to manifest us. We want to bring us into the physical world. You are in essence being the gatekeeper to us. Oh, sorry, only allowing 10% love through today. Pretty crowded in there, don't need no more love. Nobody's ever put a restriction on the quality of love. When it's worked purely, it's the foundational level of it all. The act of blending, the act of allowing, the act of surrendering control, whatever words you want to do, is really the act of allowing love into the world. And it gets expressed through words or anything else. I know I'm using this word love a bit, and he used it and all, but could you say you could honestly live your life without love in it? You think I could go and sit by myself by a river, just fish and drink rum all day? Well, it's the love of that, isn't it, that makes you do it. And anything you do in an excess will actually turn pleasure into pain. Unless it's working with pure love. Now, this all sounds very spiritually la-di-da, doesn't it? When you think I'm here to talk about how to blend. And it all sounds very like fancy. Oh, what's this got to do with mediumship? You're driving me mad. But you tell me when you don't feel better when you feel love in your heart. You tell me when your mediumship don't work better when there is love in the room. You tell me of a time when you connect to your client for healing or even just a quick message or two. Does that message work better when there is love in the room or not? Even when you got to tell somebody off, you should not do that. It has different quality when there's love in your heart. Let's change the words a little bit so it fits for some of the others. You'll blend better with spirit when you work from a higher vibration. The more you get to know your guides, the easier it'll be. The more you can understand yourself and realise that there ain't nothing wrong with you, the better the result will become. If you sit still and keep practicing sitting still, and by still I mean still of body and still of mind, and you must understand that word still of mind. I'll talk about it in a minute. If you sat still enough for a period of time, almost certainly a spirit will come to you. Remember, he said meditation's the art of listening. So if you sit still long enough, you'll begin to see what's already there. When I say almost certainly spirit will come, I mean almost certainly you'll be still enough to wake up to what's there. Been saying for ages. You've got everything you need, you just got to shut up and get on with it. Your physical self, your mental self gets in the way of what's willing to work through you. You're putting the blocks in the way. You know, if you never chased any of this type of work, you'd said to yourself, I'm giving it up. I've had enough, or I'm not even going to start. The thing you'll chase is what makes you happy. Won't it? You won't think, oh, I'm going to give all this up. I'm going to live in misery for the rest of my life. You never say that, do you? You say, oh, I'm going to give this up. I'm going to sit around, do nothing. Or I'm going to go fishing, or I'm going to visit a place. Eventually then your contentment arises, and from the contentment, of course, the spiritual self becomes there. And that's why certain people say, just live your life. What they mean is live your life fully, not trapped in yesterday, fully today. So I'm going to give you a tip. And it ain't a tip to do with the horses or anything like that. Just let us do the work. And let us fully do the work, and you'll feel the love arise in your heart when you stop trying to do it yourself. Allow us. Allow us to be here. Allow us to blend with you. Allow us to manifest if you want. And manifest fully into the world. And you'll change your life if you do it right. From chasing something to expressing what's already there. You ever seen people when they find something they like, they want to get on their high horse and tell everybody, don't they? They want to go out and say to the world, you all should follow this, it's wonderful. Whether they believe it to be certain drugs or God or a religion of some kind, or even just a new belief. And you can be the same. Not from blindly following, but just expressing what you've found. But it comes to a point, and this connects to the other half of the talk. It comes to a point where you realise that it is purely about expressing, about the verb, the doing. And if you think about it really, you know what I'm like, I'll get off a track a little bit here, but if you think about it really, the word ego, it ain't a physical place in the mind. It ain't the top left-hand corner. That's where ego exists, just the top shelf up there. Look, there it is. It ain't that. Ego itself is a verb. You just do the ego thing. Stop being ego, start being spirit. Allow us. Allow spirit into your life. And allow us to express ourselves in the way we wish. All the knowledge of the world exists there for you. If you want to cheat at an exam, learn meditation. Ha, you thought you were going to get a shortcut, didn't you? It's actually a long cut to begin with. Then it all becomes clear. So yet again, I've kind of talked on topic, talked off topic, talked around the topic, and decided to tell you something else entirely different again. I'm going to say it one more time. Allow us to do the work. That is the act of blending. It ain't hard. Just letting it happen. All right. I'm handing you back to him now. See you again. Ta-ra. The path that you pick in life, the path to be experienced, to be understood, to follow, at some stage will lead you to the silence. And sitting in that silence, or for some in that experience of no experience, eventually will become pointless until you decide to express what is learned or found or discovered there. All paths will lead to that end result. All paths will end to the expression of who you really are. And if you spent your time just expressing that truth, you'll be considered one of the finest spiritual mediums to exist. Just express the truth that you find, which is the art of allowing us to do the work. So over these ranges of talks that we have been doing for, this is number 14. As was said, it all comes back to the same truth of allowing us to do the work. And we have covered topics such as mediumship, healing, psychic work, and many others. And in essence, we could conclude there, because you could listen to these talks today, walk your path for 10 years and listen to them again and get some more. These talks have been layered like an onion. The deeper you wish to travel, the deeper the truth that you will perceive. And today's talk, even though we have talked about blending and allowing for many times, it has been a truthful expression and gone stage deeper than it has before. So now, the talks over the next weeks will begin by showing you ways of allowing spirit into your life. Sounds fairly obvious. But I guarantee to teach you something. The ways to allow spirit into your life. God bless you all. Oh, hey.
Hey,
I'm
yourself.
back. It was great.
Come back. I don't know what to say. Hey, hi. How you doing? You had a nice day.
That was very good.
Always great.
Yeah, back in full form.
Thank you, Mark.
everybody. Thank you. And